Alright, guys. So this morning, I woke up and I saw that Jagex has released a blog post discussing, you know, removing the Chaos Altar from the wilderness. And anyone from old school watching this, the Chaos Altar, or if you just didn't know, gives you 350% experience with no upkeep of the lighting the what are they called? The things on the side, the braziers with the herbs. And so it's basically like a free gilded altar that's up all the time. And RuneScape 3, you can opt out of PvP. So there's really no risk. There's a bank right here. So it's pretty broken, I have to say. So whenever I saw that they were gonna nerf this, I was like, yeah. I mean, coming from old school, um, I was just whenever I first found out about this Chaos Altar, um, I was already like 80 prayer, I think, at the time, so I really did miss out. But yeah, it is broken. Like, no one can deny that it's broken. Like, I heard someone, Protox, I think is his name. I watch his stuff regularly. I love that guy. But he was saying, like, well, isn't the whole thing that you're spending your bank to get the prayer? But I'm like, but that's still really not good enough because it's just a buyable. I mean, it should be expensive in the first place. And then to add on this broken XP method, I don't know. Like, I feel like it, um, it'll be ultimately better for the economy. It's a gold sink. But at the same time, RuneScape 3 is more known to be a little bit more friendlier than old school. I am originally an old school player, so um, you know, it is, I just recently stopped playing old school again because I was playing it for like, I don't know, 3 4 months, something like that. So I mean, if like this thing existed in old school where there's no PvP, oh my god, dude, it would be a freaking uproar. There'd be Falador riots again. But I don't know. So if you didn't know, let me actually talk about what's happening. So you're gonna have to basically skull up, risk like I think it's 250k or is it 500k? I can't remember. At the Edgeville ditch, there's a guy you can talk to, and then that's when you'll be able to use the Chaos Altar. That means whenever anybody PKs you, when you die, they get the GP from you. So PvP will be a little bit more active here if you decide to use the Chaos Altar. Um, so, I mean, I think that, I don't know. Like I said, PvP in RuneScape 3 is pretty much dead, and it's kind of weird that it almost seems like they're trying to start to reintroduce it, which the community is not taking a liking to. If you go on Reddit and you look up like the Chaos Altar, you'll see a bunch of people are like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, don't do this to our game. This isn't old school." Which, I totally understand. I don't blame people not wanting them to remove this, but they do need to nerf it. So my idea would be just to nerf it to 250% instead of 350% and leave it as a safe zone and just be like a really nice, like, if like it's like a cool like unlock. And people really wouldn't use it for that long, I wouldn't imagine, since it's so nerfed. But in the beginning it'd be pretty nice just to come and get 43 prayers just so you can get the unlocks done for the three styles or the four styles. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Again, it's just a thought. Reddit's not liking it. I'm not really liking the PvP back in RuneScape 3. Um, I don't know. Just rambling at this point, but trying to collect my thoughts. I just still think it's really strong. Again, like it's just very strong, and I don't know. Like I said, when I saw it that it got released, whenever they talked about it, I was just like, or whenever they said, we're nerfing it, I was like, Yeah, that's fair. I expect that. Like, they're trying to bring back some integrity to RuneScape 3, and this is kind of like one of those things where it's like, why did this exist in the first place? Was this just like, I feel like what happened is that I remember when this spot was PvP enabled. I remember when I was like, had to pay attention because I would try to run to the bank right there before someone would freeze me or bind me and then bank my stuff. So I remember this place used to be PvP enabled, but it felt like they left this update with a 350% experience, but then whenever they said you could opt in or opt out of PvP, this piece of content was not considered and it wasn't rebalanced. So they're basically rebalancing this altar by making it PvP again. So I see what angle they're coming at, but I don't know. RuneScape 3 players don't like PvP. They like PvE. They like bossing together. They like doing like events together. That's for another video because I could rant on that forever. But I think Jagex again just needs to nerf it down a little bit. I don't think the PvP enabled thing is a great choice for the community. I don't know if they just had an old school dev come over and like go through the whole game, which I think that RuneScape 3 does need some old school qualities because there are some great things old school's doing over there. I mean, the number count does not lie. I know a lot of them are bots, like 20%, 30% even. I would say recently I was recently playing, but some things are broken. I think this is something that wasn't rebalanced when the PvP opt-in or opt-out was done, and it just needs to be looked over again, and it was, and it just was the wrong choice. But I mean, maybe Reddit's the outlier, but I mean, that was kind of my first impression was like PvP and RuneScape 3 again. It's not really gonna work, because honestly, in PvP on RuneScape 3, you can like one-shot somebody so fast. There's just so much power creep in the game. It's kind of stupid. So it's not like in old school where you'd have a chance to like freeze and step under. You get the log out and you're safe. It's like if someone logs in, like if someone were to log in right now on me and they started attacking me, I'd be fucked. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. So I don't know. I think it's a bad idea. I think they need to just nerf it. You guys have any ideas or thoughts or something could better the idea? I was even thinking maybe you pay like 100K to rent using the altar from Simon, maybe. Again, these are all just ideas. I just don't think PvP is the way to go. But if you guys feel different, let me know. If you like the rambles, if you like this kind of content, let me know. Give me a like, sub. See you guys.